Tokyo Mirage Sessions on the Switch gives second life to a game that never had a fair shot on the Wii U, but does it hold up today? And is it a game that can reach an audience that is pretty niche to begin with? On top of that, does it cater to the level 30 crowd, those of us with limited game time and adult responsibilities? All that and more right now. As always, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and ding the bell to be part of the Level 30 family and get notifications whenever a new show goes up or we go live. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is a turn-based RPG that merges game mechanics and playstyles of the Shin Megami Tensei series and characters from Fire Emblem. If you've never played or even heard of either of those games, well, that doesn't matter much at all, but it's a little shocking that you're here because while Fire Emblem has done a tremendous job of getting into the mainstream discussion, Shin Megami Tensei, not so much. All you really need to know is that it combines traditional dungeon crawling with slice-of-life elements like hanging out in downtown Shibuya, shopping for upgrades and items, recovering health in coffee shops, and talking to and helping your teammates with personal stuff. These elements are rather light on depth, so it's a nice diversion and acts as a breather between the Tokyo Mirage Sessions chapters, even though I wish it was more fleshed out. Persona 5, this is not. The story itself is rather anime-esque, with hostile beings from another world called Mirages trying to steal Performa from people, Performa being the substance within you that allows you to follow your dreams. You play as Itsuki, who leads a group of Mirage Masters employed by an entertainment company who pair with friendly Mirages to prevent this from happening and expel the evil entity for good. Part of me feels like I should have led with the narrative description because I feel it's so weird it could immediately turn people off. Look, this is a game that wears its Japanese culture on its sleeve for better or for worse. Everything from the character design, which is fairly customary, to the character archetypes, the overly dramatic voice acting, and completely bonkers plot. It sounds like it would be an easy write-off to say that anyone that doesn't like anime might not like this game, but for the people I talked to about it, generally speaking, there was a pretty even divide in those that were curious to those who had no interest whatsoever. It's worth mentioning, after all that, there is no English dub, it's Japanese only. The voice actors do a fine job, but as an anime guy who prefers an English dub, it meant at times there was only so much I can take. I am aware that in the anime community, admitting that out loud is sacrilege, so please don't crucify me in the comments. If all that turns you off, then that's a shame, as the game's combat system is really fun. You need to discover each enemy's elemental weakness to do the most damage, and if other members of your team have a corresponding attack, you will create a session where after the initial attack, the team will go through as many chain attacks as they can. It's a really fun system, and with the ability to see the attack order, it adds a fun layer of strategy to the mix. The game only does a half-hearted job of explaining this though, as it took some trial and error to figure it out. Leveling up unlocks new specials, which eventually force you to pick and choose which ones your character has equipped, adding a second layer of strategy, but the game is slightly obtuse on explaining how to best manage this system when you get more people in your party and more types of session attacks than you can equip at any one time. Dungeon crawling is pretty unspectacular though, as the levels are rather bland looking, and if you want, you can avoid most enemy attacks by batting them away. The downside is that you don't gain the XP you normally would with random enemy encounters to level up. However, that is combated using a training area in your company headquarters. Here, you can find easily accessible items that auto-rank your character up to the next level at the end of the next battle. This makes it quick if you want to speed the process up that is traditionally left to grinding. While this may seem like a cheat, I actually enjoy this option because it saves a ton of time. I got practice battles with lower level enemies, and I didn't have to worry about bosses obliterating me over and over again and then having to sit through and fast forward cutscenes. Obviously, this takes some discipline, as you could easily outrank everybody in the game by so much it would cease to be any fun. In fact, the game warns you about this when the training area is first introduced. I do think overall, however, with some willpower, it's one aspect that puts a plus in the level 30 category. The ability to save anywhere is also nice, but there is no autosave, so the burden is on you to make sure that you remember to do it, otherwise you'll be playing the same sections over and over again. Because of that, the game can be played in short bursts, which is good because it flat out tells you that dungeons are not made to be beaten in one sitting. There were several times halfway through where I had to leave to go buy some more items or heal my characters. The backtracking isn't too obnoxious, but it could become a pain going to the same spots to leave an area to go to the map to select a new location to travel to. Thankfully, the loading is super fast, not just in travel, but in all facets of the game. Compared to the Wii U version, reports are that it's up to 75% faster. That's huge. That being said, all things even, this is a super tough game to recommend, and I think you know what camp you're in based on how you feel about the concept alone. I fall in the camp of people that would really love it, and I only sort of like it. It's fun at times, combat is cool, and the writing can be sharp and funny, but the dull dungeons and small quality of life things that have evolved since the game came out 4 or 5 years ago make it feel slightly dated. That said, if you're in it from the get-go, there are things to enjoy, just not consistently throughout. Well, that'll do it for my review of Tokyo Mirage Sessions. If you've played it and there are parts of the game you feel I need to reevaluate, let me know what they are in the comments. And if you didn't like it, I would like to know what about it turned you off from the get-go. As always, thanks for watching and being a part of the Level 30 team. Keep it here for more reviews, podcasts, let's plays, and more. For the full-time working adult, I'll see you in the next level.